and I'm the owner and artist at Emily Clarke Studio. Yeah, I started painting when I was little. My mom was a painter when she was younger, and my dad builds furniture. He was in marketing for a long time in economics, but he also builds furniture. And so when I was growing up, we were always making things. We were building things, we were making clothes, we were painting, we were drawing. So I remember being little and going to my mom and saying I wanted to learn how to paint. So she goes, okay. She brought me a bunch of paints and some canvas and said, go to it. So I've been doing that ever since. Most of my work is inspired by old family photos from my family. I'm very lucky to have a lot of old photos of my grandmothers, especially when they were younger, and my parents when they were little. And both of my grandmothers were just really beautiful and stylish. And I love seeing these photos of them when they were younger, when they were about my age. A lot of it has to do with when I knew them. They both passed away when I was younger. When I knew my grandmothers, they were my grandmother. I mean, how do you view your grandmother? She's an elderly woman. She loves you. She gives you gifts, but you don't think of her as a teenager or a 20-year-old or a newly married. And so I love seeing that side of my family before they knew me, before I was even around. So I'm inspired by those photos and also the time period in which they lived, the 40s and 50s mostly.
My name is Christina Nicole, and I am a jewelry designer. I hand sculpt metal, primarily bronze, and all my jewelry utilizes semi-precious. I actually started in the art world at about 16, 17, high school. I've always been painting, drawing throughout classes in all of my elementary, middle school, high school, and I decided that I was going to go to school for, it was kind of either sculpture or interior design, and always along those art lines. And so I ended up going to I went to Greenville Tech for a little while, the art program out at the Greer campus, and then I ended up transferring to Savannah College of Art and Design. So I've been within the arts, constantly doing something for pretty much most of my life, and ended up majoring in sculpture, and then came back to Greenville and decided to open up my studio. Basically what I do is I hand sculpt bronze, metal, pewter, steel. It starts as a metal clay form. So it is clay with metal particles, regardless of if it's gold or sterling, whatever. And so you get to actually sculpt the clay, you sit it out, you let it dry, you sculpt a bit more, refine, so forth, and then you fire it in the kiln, Betsy the kiln. And depending on what type of metal it is determines how long it fires for. But then after it comes out, then I'll actually sand and refine even further. And then through that process, I'll determine what type of patinas I want to do, if I want to add pearls, if I want to add gemstones, what exactly. Usually I've already intended what I'm going to do with the piece before I fired it. But, and so it's not too lengthy of a process. The metal that I use, it only takes about 2 hours for it to fire. So I think total work time spent on each piece is about 2.5 hours. Minus cooling time.
I use oil paint to do my pieces, and I've worked with this medium since I started painting. I said when I wanted to learn how to paint, I told my mom, and she brought me some paint. She brought me oil paint because that's what she was used to. And I love oil because I'm able to work with it over a long period of time. I'm able to move it around, I'm able to blend. Whereas people who work in watercolor or acrylic, you can't do that. So I love kind of the freedom that it gives me. And I also have this attitude when I go into a painting that no matter what I do, even if it's horrible, wipe it off, get rid of it, cover it up. So oil is a really great medium. My favorite part about working with oil is the colors that I can get, the freedom that I get with it, my ability to move things around. How you can blend and get these really realistic tones and shades and that realistic three-dimensional effect, but at the same time I can also get these bright colors and these kind of radiant looking pieces. I don't know, I feel like it's a really versatile medium and I'm able to do pretty much anything I want.
I prefer bronze, and I prefer, it's pearl steel. Basically, they're just, it's the warm color of bronze, which is kind of a champagne-y, but you can kind of patina it, finish it however you'd like. I really love bronze because it's dense and it's strong enough, but it's also the color that comes through, like the inherent color of bronze is just a really pretty color.
I think the advice that I would give to any aspiring artist would be a couple things. Do what you love and do it all the time.
You cannot be afraid of hard work, and you cannot be afraid of rejection.
So if you force yourself to paint every day, you'll start to you just paint because you need to paint.
It's an uphill battle always with art. There's an exclusivity to it, and then there's also kind of this glamorous, starving artist kind of glamour to it, but it's really not. It's tons of hard work, it's heartache, it's inconsistent, it's up and down, but the key is to carving out your niche, finding exactly what it is that you want to do. Instead of having your hand in 15 jars, it's, no, what am I best at and what do I love? And aligning those, because you can love something all day long, and if you're not good at it, then you're not going to make a living at it.
If you want to be a professional artist, you can't just make paintings and expect somebody to come pay you tons of money. You need to know how to market, you need to know advertising, you need to know social media and how to do a website and how to mail things out. There's a big side of that artists aren't given that information until they get out there.
School is an absolute, I sound like a typical go school, commercial, but if someone is, there are those cookie cutter artists and then there are artists, and the cookie cutters get weeded out during school, I think.
Take some marketing classes, get information from artists who have succeeded. I think that's the advice that I would give.
It's the ones that actually have the God-given talent and have the ability that need to cultivate it, but need to just do it. Not be afraid to get a second job, to get a third job, but do it regardless and not turn your back on it.